The aorta becomes thicker and more stiff, and this leads to higher blood pressure, which means that the heart has to work harder, and this can lead to hypertrophy. All of these factors negatively affect exercise and sporting performance because the body isn't as good at using oxygen and expelling CO2. Blood. As we get older, there is a reduction in water in our bodies, which means that the blood is less viscous, and so the heart has to work harder to pump it around the body. The body produces less red blood cells, which make older people more vulnerable to blood loss and anemia. White blood cells are responsible for the immune system, and they decrease. This table shows the risk factors of coronary heart disease. Some of them can be controlled by medications such as genetic heart conditions or diabetes, but some of these risks can be prevented by a healthy diet, being physically active, not smoking, and being a healthy weight. People who exercise regularly reduce their risk of coronary heart disease. Exercise can also prevent the decrease in cognitive function. Jennifer Hayes published in the Journal of Cognitive Neuroscience a study showing that people who exercise prolonged their cognitive abilities, and she thought that this was because they maintained plasticity in their brains. As people age, their metabolic rate slows down, and this causes them to gain weight more easily. Basal metabolic rate increases through childhood and peaks at around 16 or 17, and then slowly decreases over your lifetime. Your musculoskeletal system is one of them uses most of the energy your body produces. From the age of 25, the percentage of fat increases and muscle decreases, so you need less energy and therefore less calories. Calories are not needed are stored as fat. Fat is stored in the abdomen where, as we get older, and this is a risk factor for diseases such as diabetes. As you get older, you need to make sure that the calories you're consuming are balanced with the calories you're expending. If they are balanced, then you maintain a healthy weight. As you can see from the graph, obesity levels rise with age, peaking at 55 to 64. Once you're overweight, you are less likely to want to take part in sport because you might find exercise more challenging, and you might feel less confident about going to a gym when most people are young and slim. As a sports person, being the right weight is very important for performance. For instance, Mo Farah has to maintain a very low body fat in order to compete at distance running. The government should be encouraging older obese people to lose weight because being overweight puts pressure on your musculoskeletal system, your cardiovascular and respiratory systems, and losing weight can improve health. This could save a lot of money for the NHS because if people were healthy weight, then they wouldn't get ill as often. When we age, our bodies become less efficient at regulating temperature. People over 65 don't sweat as much as younger adults, which is a problem because one of the body's most important heat regulation mechanisms. Usually, the body will either sweat or dilate blood vessels to lose heat. Due to changes in sweat glands that occur with age, older people experience a decrease in their ability to lose heat. Also, older people store fat differently, which changes heat regulation in the body further. This means that their core temperature increases. It's important for them to drink lots of fluid during exercises, even if they don't feel thirsty. Cooling is really important for older people. Older people can end up not being able to get around and have the independence that they used to. People tend to be more stiff and their legs begin to swell. If they do exercise, then they can prevent this from happening. If people try to keep active throughout their lives, then they can still take part in sport and do fun things like riding a bike when they're elderly. When we get old, we have reduced motor skills, and this can interfere with our quality of life. Our muscles are not as strong as we find it harder to balance. We might not have a very good eyesight, and we are not as good at concentrating. By doing exercise throughout our lives, we can stay stronger for longer and have a better quality of life when we're old. For these reasons, it takes older athletes longer to recover. However, you can change your training and help recovery by doing more interval training and less endurance. Also, you can concentrate on maintaining muscle strength with weight training and flexibility with yoga or Pilates. The picture shows Dara Torres winning the silver medal in the 50-meter freestyle at the Beijing Olympics in 2008 at the age of 41. She is the oldest swimmer in the history of the Olympics to win a medal. Anthony Irvine is the oldest swimmer to win a gold medal at the age of 35 at the Rio Olympics in 2016. Nicole et al. Found a study of cyclists that age had a greater effect on anaerobic capacity than on aerobic capacity. The maximal ability to utilize oxygen, VO2 max, is a strong indicator of how good a person will be at an endurance event and whatever age they are. VO2 max is a numerical value that describes how much oxygen your body can use per kilogram of your body weight. VO2 max is affected by how well your body can bring oxygen into the lungs and how well it's carried in our blood to the working muscles, and how much oxygen the muscles can use to fuel contractions. As you get older, your body becomes less efficient and your VO2 max declines. In the general population, VO2 max declines by approximately 10% per decade after the age of 30. Athletes who continue to compete and train hard lose approximately 5% per decade after the age of 30. The reason why VO2 max declines with age is that our maximum heart rate goes down as well. Maximal heart rate is the highest heart rate in beats per minute which one can achieve during exercise. It's often predicted as 220 minus age, which equals the maximal heart rate. Both cardiac output and oxygen delivery to the muscles decreases as we age, which leads to a lower VO2 max and a lower performance in endurance events. If athletes maintain their training at a very high level, then they can continue competing at the top until a relatively old age, as Roger Federer and Serena Williams have done. Their hard work and skill in tennis allows them to beat younger players. All of us can have a physically active old age if we manage to keep physically active throughout our lives, maintaining our muscular, skeletal, cardiovascular and respiratory systems as much as possible. Helping older people to be physically active is really important for the government so that older people can be helpful to society rather than needing lots of expensive care.